All right, hey fifth graders, welcome back to Mr. Hansen's Math Class YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, if you find out this, or if this video has helped you with today's lesson, make sure you give the video the thumbs up button, give it a like, all right? Today's lesson is pretty short, and it is covering comparing and ordering decimal numbers, okay? Fractions of a second are usually expressed as decimals, okay? So we're going to this kind of little overview or a little fun fact for you guys on today's lesson, okay? Say someone ran a 14 6/10 second sprint. We rarely say 14 6/10 when we're dealing with seconds. Okay, we usually say it as 14.6 or 14.6. So if say Tanner runs a 100-yard sprint in 14, like in this time, we would say 14.6 or 14.6. That's how fast he ran that, okay? Now, if someone ran a 14-second sprint, they would say it as 14 flat. So any whole number dealing with seconds, you would say 14 flat. So just a little bit of a, if any of you become track stars, kind of this correct terminology for that, okay? So to compare decimal numbers, we need to pay close attention to place value. The decimal point separates the whole number part from the fraction part. Okay, so if we are comparing, for example, 12 3/10, and 1 23/100. Okay, so what I always do, I line up the place values. Okay, so we have 12 3/10, so then the 1 23/100, the 1 is the highest place value, but you don't line it up with the 1 12 3/10 because that's in the tens place. In 1 23/100, that's in the ones place. So you would line up the ones place, and then you would line up the decimals 2, 3. Okay, so now going from left to right, you compare the numbers. Okay, so first column, the top number has a 1 in the tens place, and this the bottom number doesn't have a number in the tens place, so we would put a 0. Okay, so then right away we know there's a difference. Okay, and we would go with the greater, or we would ask ourselves, which one's greater, the 1 or the 0? The 1 is. So then that tells us that 12 3/10 is bigger than 1 23/100. Now I know that you can tell by just looking at it, but when we're dealing with, say we have 3, 2, 1, 3, and 3, 2, 2, 3. When we're dealing, or should be like this, when we're dealing with something like this, when the numbers are so close together, lining up the place values and looking at each one will help you immensely. Okay, but for this one, it's pretty easy that you can see it right away. All right, last example. This, like I said, this lesson's pretty short. Example 2, arrange these numbers in order from least to greatest. Now make sure you read if it wants least to greatest or greatest to least. Don't let the textbook trick you. Okay, so just like we did, line up the decimals or line up each place value. Okay? And then if you have a blank spot, I would just put a 0 there. Okay? So, starting in the ones place, that's the greatest place value out of these three numbers. Starting in the ones place, are they all the same? They are. So then that's done. So that column's done. Okay, we can't choose which one's the least and greatest from there. So then we go to the tenths place. All right. So now all of these are different. So now this is the only as far as you need to go. Okay. So now it's asking for the least to greatest. So let's find the least number first. So we have a 0, 2, and 1. Well, what's the lowest one or lowest number? It would be 0. So then that would be your least. Your lowest number. So then that one's done. Get rid of it. You don't need it anymore. You've used it. Now what would be your middle number? What would be, well, or we could do the greatest. Let's do the greatest number. What's great? So we've done the ones. We're in the tens place. What's greater? 2 or 1? 2 is greater. So then that would be your greatest number. So it would be 1 2/10. Cross that off. And then your middle number would be 1 12/100. Okay? Today's video shout out goes to, I'll draw 2 sticks. We're getting down to the nitty gritty with these. First one goes to Jesselyn. Shout out goes to Jesselyn. And then the last one goes to Dory. Hope you guys are tuning into these videos. Sorry, Dory, I threw you on the floor. Here we go. Hope you guys tuned into this video so you could catch that shout out. Make sure if you have any questions, you email me directly. And otherwise, I hope to see you guys soon. If you, again, have questions, email me. Miss you guys. Peace out.